I'm going to have to get a new chair because the wear on the edge of my seat is at critical condition right now. These last two chapters have been intense. This week, again, One Piece, chapter 945, O-Lin. So many more big reveals, so many more surprises. I can't wait to talk about them in this review. Yo, Hegassen here, and normally when I do these reviews I like to talk about the events that happened in them in order, but in this one I want to jump a few pages ahead and get straight into talking about one of the big twists in this, and that was Basil Hawkins and Trafalgar Law. And what I have got to say before I get into this is, Oda at the moment, he has been knocking it out of the park. A lot of the time with One Piece, you know, we get a lot of stuff that we speculate on. There's a lot of speculation in this fandom, and I feel like for most of the time, we kind of guess a lot of the things quite early on. You know, like Kurosaki being Hiyori, that was figured out quite early on. Things like with Momo and maybe time travel being involved, and then that being a devil fruit power, that worked out to be true. So last chapter, when we got that big reveal that Killer was Kamazo the Manslayer, somebody that a lot of people, including myself, were thinking maybe is related to Denjiro. That was an amazing twist. One I generally did not see coming, and I don't think a lot of the fandom really saw coming either. And then this chapter, for me, there's at least two things that I think were like, oh my god, I did not see that coming. I mean, one of them I did because it got spoiled on Twitter, but even seeing it on Twitter, it was like, mind blown, I can't believe he actually did that. Oda, you clever, clever man. And one of them here was with Basil Hawkins, a character that, until this point, I was convinced that he was just playing Kaido and going to be some kind of ally all along. We've seen him being a bit suspicious, not telling Kaido all of the information. We've seen that he's doing predictions, so it was likely a theory that he would predict the fact that maybe Luffy was going to take down Kaido, and so would work his way more onto their side. And we know that he wanted to speak to Trafalgar Law and stuff. And it seems like he'd been letting people go, you know. Sanji in the bathhouse he let go. In fact, I think he's let Sanji go maybe twice. He's let Law go loads of times. Luffy and Zoro got away from him. So I thought maybe there was something in there. But no, this chapter we see that yes, he is definitely working for Kaido. And he is savage about it. I did not expect this from Basil Hawkins. I thought he was kind of a cool, calm, collected guy. Does things in a more gentlemanly way. Here we see that he has put his straw powers, you know, the voodoo dolls that he creates, that allows him, in a sense, extra lives, you know, a sense of invulnerability. When you slash him, if it's a fatal blow, that gets transferred to one of his underlings that he's implanted these things in, and they take the damage and then he's completely fine. He's done this here, and he's put it in Bepo, Sachi, and Penguin, who we know have been captured. And he's done that so that Law just can't easily room them out. Because as I said before, they're all in this cage. All Law has to do is get a line of sight from the top of a mountain, have a bunch of pebbles, room! Swap them over and they're all out of the cage. What Hawkins has done here, knowing that Law can do that power, he's taken Bepo and put him somewhere else. We don't know where that somewhere else is. And he's done a kind of a hostage situation. So Law is now in the predicament of, he has to fight Hawkins to get his crewmates. But when he's fighting Hawkins, any fatal blows are going to get transferred 3 times into his 3 crew members. And you can see on Law's face, he is shocked and devastated by that. And this puts Law and Hawkins in a very interesting predicament. Now there's a few kind of theories and stuff that this could go. And for me, I'm going to say that this is definitely one of the most interesting things in this chapter. So, one of the most logical things is, what is Law going to do here? Is he now going to switch sides and kind of be forced against his will to work with Hawkins and Kaido because he doesn't want to put his crew in that kind of situation? Or, you know, will he show more of his kind of logical, calm thinking and turn against his crew? I don't really think he was, because of the passion that he showed in the last chapters defending his crew. So this here, it could be that Law is now actually going to become a little bit of an antagonist in this arc. Or there could be some slightly different routes we could go. We know that Law's power is the op fruit, the operation fruit, and we haven't really get to see him actually use his operation skills much. Normally when he just does it, he's like, room, and he's teleporting people around, and there's just bits of bodies and buildings flying around, and you don't really get the sense that he's an operator, you know, he's a surgeon doing like medical stuff. So here it could be interesting if he actually uses his operation powers to operate the straw dolls out of their bodies. Somehow that would be an interesting thing and something that I'd really like to see. Actually see more of his surgeon nature in play and that aspect of his devil fruit. Or we could see a twist where he's like, okay, I want to free my crew, but I have a lot of faith in my crew. I believe in their willpowers. I'm just going to go at you, Hawkins, and I believe that my crew can tank the hits and are stronger than you. That would actually be quite badass to see, get to see Penguin and such actually like being strong, tanking hits. Yeah, they're getting cut, but they're tanking it, and then Hawkins goes down. Could get Bepo going so long, being like, Captain, cut me, don't worry, I can take it. He does it, Hawkins can't, and he faints. His crewmates will be busted up, but then he's a surgeon and stuff, he can heal them, maybe Chopper. So there's a few interesting routes that we can go there. The big question is, of course, where is Bepo? Is he somewhere else in the capital, or has he been taken to Udon prison? If he's been taken to Udon prison, that's very interesting, because as we know right now, Big Mum has just busted into Udon prison, and we know that Bepo has a little bit of history with Big Mum. Not directly, but Big Mum killed Bepo's brother, Zeppo. So, maybe get a nice little interaction between them two there. I think it would be interesting to see what will happen when them two meet. Obviously, at the moment, Lin Ling can't remember any of that stuff, and let's talk about that. But before we get there, let me just quickly throw something out into my room, and that is like and subscribe. Please, it's really, really helpful, really means a lot to me. It really helps the channel grow, and I can't say how much I appreciate that stuff, and commenting down below. Really, really love that stuff, so if you could, that would be really nice. But let's carry on back into this and carry on talking about Big Mum, and as I was saying, she has lost her memories. And I was worried here that she's lost her memories. Maybe she's not going to be as competent a fighter. But thankfully, we see her getting in here in Udon prison. She's busting down the steel gate. Everybody was like, oh, how are we going to get through this? And she's just like, probably even just like a light tap and it fell over. She gets in there, sees Queen. Queen versus Big Mum. And from the looks of it at the moment, it's no contest. Big Mum is Yonko level confirmed. Actually a beast, coming in there, slamming down Queen, as it should be. But let's talk about Queen, because that is the other big surprise in this. There was a lot of speculation. What is Queen's devil fruit? A lot of people were looking at Queen, analysing him. He was like, quite a rotund character. He had that long ponytail that was all in like little sections. People were looking at that being like, oh, maybe it's Scorpion. It kind of looks like a Scorpion tail. Then we got that smile user that was Scorpion. That didn't take that kind of theory out of play, but it would have been weird if there were two Scorpion people on the screen at the same time. And then there was all theories, including myself, talking about the fact that if King is sky and Jack is like a mammoth, land like the behemoth, then maybe Queen will be something to do with water. I was thinking like Leviathan, Plesiosaur. A lot of people were going Sea Scorpion. I don't really think Sea Scorpions would be that impressive in a Devil Fruit if you've ever seen them. Sure, they sound cool and everything, but they only have like tiny little claws and stuff. They're not as impressive as an actual Scorpion. They don't have like the same kind of stinging tail. Then people were saying maybe Stegosaurus, because maybe all of them little hair bits could represent Stegosaurus. I saw his like a big moustache thing, and I was like, Walrus maybe? Because, he's a big guy. I could see a walrus in there. But no, what is he? The big round rotund guy with no neck turns into the thing that had one of the longest necks in the history of the Earth, the Brachiosaurus. Did not see that coming. That is epic. That has got to be one of the biggest zone fruits we've seen so far. I cannot wait to see what that hybrid form looks like. We saw Kaku's giraffe fruit hybrid, and that looked ridiculous. What on earth is Queen's one going to look like? We don't get too many shots of it here. We mainly just see Big Mum grabbing that dinosaur and slamming it into the ground. When she was a kid, she beat up a bear, so a dinosaur here is no problem. But that's a really cool reveal, and there's a lot of dinosaurs in this arc. This arc is not only samurais, it's now Jurassic Park, and it's great. And speaking of dinosaurs, let's go back and talk about Sanji versus X-Drake. Cool little fight, good to see that going on, but a little bit upset here that it looks like now X-Drake has got the upper hand on Sanji. Obviously Sanji isn't actually a supernova, he's not in that ranking, but at the moment his bounty is higher than Zoro's, so he's kind of in that area around them, and I'd like to see him doing a little bit more, but here he looks like he's kind of getting thrown around a little bit too much. We still don't know what happened with Sanji in page 1. I'd like to think Sanji easily won that, but we didn't get to see it on screen, and here we just see Sanji getting thrown around. And the other fight that we got last week set up, and this is probably the biggest disappointment in this chapter for me, is Zoro versus Kyoshiro. I was really excited to see that. We know that there's something going on with Kyoshiro. He's been talking smack about Orochi. He obviously knows something about Kurosaki Hiyori. He's telling everybody that he killed her and she's still alive. Her and Zoro have, started to build this like little relationship. It looks more romantic on Hiyori's part, but with Zoro it's probably more of like an honor protecting kind of a thing. But they've got this little relationship going on. We see here Zoro and Kyoshiro clashing, and in this chapter we don't really get any of that. We get them glaring at each other. We get Kyoshiro glaring at Zoro with his little eyes. And then somehow Zoro manages to just slip away. We get the funny scene where Sanji is like using like a laser sight, almost like taking Usopp's thing of being able to detect people in a big crowd. He sees Hiyori, a woman in need. He's going in to save her. Zoro is just tap, 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 comes out of nowhere and saves her. And you get that really funny shot of Sanji being like, what? Why is Zoro get in there? But during all of this chaos at the beginning, there is one more little thing that I do want to bring up. And that is the fact that one of the Oniwabanshu is like, look, all we need to do is capture one of them and interrogate them. And that's very interesting because a few chapters ago, we got a scene where Nami and Usopp were talking about interrogation and the fact that they would probably crack under pressure and spill all of the details. Now, I don't think, I even said it way back then, that is no coincidence that they were talking in such detail, taking up so much panel time, talking about the fact that they would crack under pressure. And here we've got that again, talking about capturing a Straw Hat and interrogating them to get information. So I don't think now there's any doubt that either Nami or Usopp, maybe both. I mean, at the moment, Usopp has Otoko, unless he passes her on to someone else and then gets captured. But I think definitely one of them is going to be captured, and they are going to show that no, they will not crack under pressure. They will hold their own. Even though they get really beat up, they will hold their own, and that's definitely going to rile up the rest of the Straw Hats. We saw how badly Law got riled up, so we probably see that here, definitely with Luffy, if he finds out that one of his crewmates is being tortured, or if it is Nami, get to see Sanji getting really wild up, and that could be Sanji's big epic thing. One more little thing, we also got Kinemon talking to Ashura Doji, Shutenmaru, and Shutenmaru has already found out that it was Kinemon was responsible for burning down his mountain, and I was worried about whether or not that would mean that Ashura Doji wouldn't actually join the alliance, but Kinemon here, he apologises. He talks about the fact that he was a bit rash, he was a bit desperate. That seems to have clicked, and also the stuff with Yasui's death, Yasu the Hedgehog. You've got to get all of the names out. He's got so many names. I don't even think I've touched the surface on all of his names. Shimotsuki, the same as Zoro's home village. All of the names. But it looks like, yes, Ashura Doji is going to join the alliance. But before he does, he says, I want to show you something. And we have no idea what's that going to be. It's obviously going to be something important to the rebellion, or maybe something that Orochi or something that Kaido's been doing, or maybe it's something that he's been doing all of this time. That's going to be interesting to see. I'm actually excited to see what Ashura Doji's secret or the thing that he wants to show them is going to be and what that's going to relate to. Is it going to relate to the law of Wano? Is it going to be some kind of underground rebel movement that we've already seen? Or is it going to be something that maybe he's like, look, you can go and take down Kaido and stuff, but if you do, this one little thing is going to be affected. I don't know, maybe it's like a village or something. Who knows? But that's going to be very interesting to see. So a lot of good hype in this chapter. A lot of good setup. A lot of good theories to go about, especially with that Hawkins and Law stuff. Great to see. Finally, Queen's Devil Fruit. Another thing we can tick off that we know. Still so many mysteries, but good. One more thing to tick off. Queen is a Brachiosaurus. But there is that big disappointment for me that we didn't get to see that Zoro versus Kyoshiro stuff or any more information on the Kyoshiro Hiyori stuff. So for me, I think I can only give this chapter a gold tier. Just because of that one thing, oh, and as well because of the fact that Sanji is just getting smacked about and was just played for a joke. Really wanted to get an epic Sanji moment in here, but we never really got to see that. So yeah, just a gold tier for me, but I'm still very hyped for the next few chapters to come. So much to talk about. We're on break next week, but I think Oda deserves it after these two masterpiece chapters. And we've got all of the art coming out now for the anime, and it is looking gorgeous. It's a great time to be a One Piece fan. And now, I'll see you in 2 weeks for my next review. Well, talk to you, I won't see you. Hey, so thanks for watching. What did you think? Let me know about it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed my video, maybe give it a like. And if you really liked it, why not subscribe? You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram and Twitch. Oh, and here's a related video you might enjoy, and something more fresh. I've been Hegassen, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!